The Pokemon that was said to be made by man. Genesect is a steel type. A bird that's made of steel can fly. Skarmory. 3 Magnemites in 1. Magneton with the evolution of Magnezone being made. One huge ass Magnemite. Fucking Metagross, the Buddha of all steel type Pokemon. Bisharp, the loyal dark type knight. The snake himself, Steelix. Aggron, the big ass ferocious ghost. The Tyranitar of steel types. Ladies and gentlemen and folks, welcome to my top 5 steel type Pokemon. So the reason when I think of steel types, I think of these Pokemon in particular because of the attributes they have. Steel type Pokemon are known as like steel heart, made man, machine. Machines made to be loyal to their masters for war, for destruction is what I think Pokemon will be used in the real world. So I've been watching a lot of I've been watching some mecha anime, some animes that use like machine like guns and everything else. So I decided I was thinking of steel type Pokemon because I'm wearing my Pokemon t-shirt, which I don't wear a lot. So I was like, I was thinking of since I'm watching mecha anime and I have my Pokemon, so why don't I fuse those two and do a steel type video? So ladies and gentlemen and folks, let us start, shall we? I take the number 5 slot is the Iron Ant Pokemon Durant. Now I don't know why some of y'all are sleeping on my man Durant though. This man may look like an insignificant bug, but this man, if you make a correct set, this man could put in nothing but the finest, the cleanest, the squeakiest, he could destroy everything in his sight. This man, give him some decent ass moves. Now I have never used a Durant before. One of these days I'm just gonna make a Durant set. I'm gonna learn how to make one of those sets because I have seen him put work in free falls. I have seen him put in work in I've seen him take down big ass Pokemon. This little bug can kick your ass, yo. This man's like, you cannot mess with him. He's like a Chimera Ant. This man is a Chimera Steel Ant. Do not mess with this man. This man will demolish your entire career. But other than that, this man because I feel like people underestimate him a lot. I feel like nobody will give him a chance, but you gotta do these things. Do not underestimate these little Pokemon, because if you give them the correct items, such as a choice scarf, a choice band, or a choice suspected item, life orb, whatever you wanna run this guy, run him in it, test him out, go to Pokemon Showdown simulators, test him out, and then put him to your Wi-Fi team, because who knows, you always want to you always make sure, you always want to give your opponent that cocky feeling and then destroy them after that. This is why I love Durant, is because it's so underrated. Nobody will give him a chance. I'm like, why don't I give my boy Durant a shout out in this list? And coming at the number 4 slot is Skarmory, the steel bird himself, the iron bird himself. How does a bird made of steel fly? Well, we will never know, but this man is so bad. I don't know why, but Skarmory, just a factor of a steel bird, a bird being made of steel can fly, that's pretty bad itself. I don't know how this man does in competitive. He probably sets up some rock spikes, whatever, then he U-turns a brave bird, does whatever he does. Competitive, remember, this video is not only for competitive, stats, looking at them, you're looking at the wrong video, because I'm a chill person when it comes to Pokemon. You could call me a casual if you want to, if you do so inclined to, but this man's a steel bird. I love his color patterns as well, and I believe shiny Skarmory, I'm not sure what shiny Skarmory's color is. I believe he's a shiny and metallic version. I'm not sure what color he is, but then I believe I did prefer the regular version over the shiny one. And just overall, he's pretty cool. I really like the fact that he's like, a bird, he flies, he's a steel type with his steel wings like brave birds. I remember watching him in an anime episode, and I think he was pretty cool at that time, because when I was a child, I really wasn't fond of Skarmory. When I grew up, I got more fond of him. I don't know why, because maybe it's the fact that he's like, I love birds as a kid. I love flying type Pokemon, and as I grew up older and older, I love starting steel types into my loves, my childhood and my adulthood, my adolescenthood combined became this motherfucker, Skarmory. And coming at number 3 is the Pokemon Scizor. Scizor. I just don't know what about Scizor, but Mega Scizor is freaking amazing. Beast Pokemon himself, Scizor. Now, I love when he evolved from a Scyther, because when I was a kid, I loved Scyther as well. And also when he became a Scizor, it was pretty cool, because I always wanted to trade a Scizor over, but then I was never able to until Pokemon X and Y, because when I was a kid, I had a Scyther. I was like, yeah, I want to get that Scizor, yo. That Scizor looks awesome. But then I didn't really have any friends who owned the Pokemon copy that I was looking for, and then then I was disappointed. But when I became older, I was able to trade with my friends online on YouTube, and they were able to help me get my very first Scizor, and it was an amazing experience. I love using Scizor. Mega Scizor is awesome. It just overall, this Pokemon competitively, I heard this Pokemon was pretty decent. He could take some hits as well, and that is the reason he's in the number 3 spot. Let's dive right into number 2, and that being Empoleon, the Mr. Penguin himself, water and steel type. Now, when I spent Diamond and Pearl, I remember getting a freaking Prinplup, and I was like, yo, this guy's pretty cool. But when I saw Empoleon, I was like, yo, is that you, Mr. Penguin? Yo, what you doing in Pokemon though? Yo, I think I nicknamed one of my Pokemon my freaking Empoleon Mr. Penguin, and I was like, I love using this guy. He was freaking a threat. I did like him. Now competitively, I have no clue how this man is. Hopefully he's okay enough to use competitive, because who knows, maybe I'll get me a Mr. Boss, Mr. Penguin one of these days, because he looked cool. His design was overall awesome. Like, I think when I saw him in the anime, I think you don't see him in the anime. I don't think Don decided to get a freaking Prinplup nor Empoleon, so I'm not sure how that went. But when I saw him playing in the game, he was like, yo, that guy looks awesome. There's a whole like factor of him being a water type and a steel type, which means he's agile, and the elegant flow of the water type gets the more power of the powerhouse of the steel types. It was awesome because water type is one of my favorite types, and also steel being in there, wow, it was a good combination. I loved Empoleon in the Diamond and Pearl days, and I still love Empoleon, which is why he was one of the Pokemon that I thought of when I was thinking on this list. I normally think of these lists, and like Empoleon has to be on this list immediately. It's just like, it's one of those things that I can never forget about, and he's definitely a childhood favorite, and he's an adolescent favorite, and I hope he become an adult favorite. Let's finish off with this Steel Buddha Pokemon himself, Metagross. Now, Metagross is my favorite Hoenn Pokemon. He's my favorite Steel Pokemon in general, because the reason I say Buddha is because he's also Psychic type, and Psychic types are supposed to be calm and like enlightened and everything else, which is why I always say like Buddha, because Buddha, I believe, is also enlightened. So I decided to link a little bit of like school studies and everything else. Hopefully I'm correct. If I'm wrong, obviously the comment section below is there for a reason to correct me. So he's overall badass, because I heard Mega Metagross was the thing. When I heard that, I was like, oh my, no, you cannot make a threat even more dangerous. This man is gonna be bound in like Uber. I don't know where this man is going. Hopefully he's not Uber, so I can use you, man. I cannot wait to use you in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, brother or sister. I don't know if you have a gender, but if you do, hopefully I will use that gender respectively, because a female Metagross, I believe. I even love the shiny version of Metagross as being like a freaking golden like design, and I was like, oh yes, you look pretty, yo. I cannot wait to use you. And I think I have used a Metagross in like Pokemon Showdown once, but I want to use a Metagross, actually use it in game, because as a child, you see, these things didn't unlock my childhood, because I remember my childhood, because my childhood was also Pokemon, but I never did. So basically my adolescence was never Pokemon. I think I dropped the series when I grew up. But then also, like, you know, whenever I do these lists, I also gets me thinking back when I was a kid playing, like, you know, Pokemon Leaf, you know, these other games, and I was never able to get a Metagross. I think I was able to get a Metang, and I think that's basically it, because obviously I had to trade, and obviously, you know, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I don't think and what the friends I had didn't have the game to trade, so I was able to use them in that. Maybe hopefully, like, you know, if I do get Pokemon X and Y and before Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire come out, maybe I can get a Metagross in the meantime. But if not, then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is calling me. For these top 5 lists, normally I would love to hear your opinions, because a top 5 list basically shows that it allows me to read what your opinions are. So be sure to comment below what your favorite top 5 steel type Pokemon are, and I would love to read your opinions. Also, be sure to like the video, be sure to share the video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, whatever social media site you use, because I would love to hear more and more of your friends' opinions and everything else. And if you have a chance to actually use Pokemon competitively, please link me the video. Please, I would love to watch you guys wreck with my favorite steel type Pokemon, because those guys are just amazing childhood favorites, adolescent favorites, and I hope they carry out to my favorite Pokemon when I become older and become an adult, because I definitely will be doing more Pokemon videos in the future, because Pokemon videos are fun to do, because I have zero experience in the Pokemon lore. I have no idea the Pokemon competitive lore or any of the Pokedex lore or anything. I would definitely love to dive into the series one of these days when maybe Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire come out. I will be buying Omega Ruby and maybe Alpha Sapphire in the future. So I will see you guys later. Farewell.